recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce you to the board. To my left is Lisa Normandin, our board secretary. I'm Alfred Gravel. This is Hans Winthrop, Patrick Callahan, Tony Nicastro, and Donald Gurnett. The way the hearing will proceed is Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communications. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of new or additional documents. You will please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions that they might have on the application while you're at the mic. There will be a public comment period. If you would like to speak, you will please come forward to the mic, give your name and address, and please address all comments and questions to the board. The board will go into deliberations. There are 4 requirements for a special permit, and there's also additional requirements for a special permit to vary dimensional requirements. Those findings are that the permit may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially degrading from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. The specific site is an appropriate location for such building or alteration. The proposed building or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood with regard to size, location, and architecture. The granting of the special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities, and there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. Finally, the board may impose any conditions deemed necessary to achieve the purpose of the bylaw. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is CD Realty Trust, Donald R. Dobeck, trustee, 65 Parker Street in Clinton, Massachusetts. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. Special permit under Chapter 250, Section Article 7, nonconforming uses, structures, and lots. Specifically, Section 250-7.1, nonconforming lots. The existing lot does not meet current lot area requirements. The lot has 26,785 square feet of lot area. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family dwelling that will otherwise meet all other dimensional requirements. An application for the same dated March 12, 2022 was submitted to the building inspector and was denied by the same for the reasons stated in the letter attached hereto. Has the proposed action begun? This was left blank. The basis for that application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. That was also left blank. The street address of the property is 410 Hollis Road in Lunenburg, assessment map 93, parcel 20. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land which is the subject of this case is Donald R. Dobeck, trustee of CD Realty Trust. And the deed was recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, book 9719, page 367, and recorded September 11th, 2020. They have no knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case. This is signed on the 30th day of March by Donald R. Dobeck, trustee, address 65 Parker Street in Clinton, Mass., and signed by Mr. Dobeck. The special permit questions and answers are as follows. A, will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply, the proposed use is a single-family dwelling in a residential zone. The proposed use will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health nor the surrounding neighborhood. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings on the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The response, the proposed use is a single-family residential use in a residential zone. The proposed use will not have any type of adverse effect on the property values in the surrounding neighborhood. The applicant proposes to construct a new single-family dwelling on a blighted piece of property which should help the aesthetics of the neighborhood. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if an open use? The reply, The proposed use is a single-family residential use in a residential zone and is not considered to be an open use. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of the adjacent property? The response, the proposed use is a single-family residential use in a residential zone. The proposed use will not produce any detrimental effects to the normal use of adjacent properties in the neighborhood. There is a special permit plan in the packet showing where the proposed structure is going. There's also a list of abutters prepared by the Lunenburg Assessor's Office, and there's a copy of the deed with the field card and a Whalum Lake Manor plan dated May 31st, 1927. And then there's a site plan and building plans submitted by the applicant. I also just wanted to read that the applicant, CD Realty Trust, Donald R. Dobeck trustee, wishes to submit to the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals an application for a special permit, and they will be represented by Whitman and Bingham Associates here tonight, and that's signed by Donald Dobeck. I have a letter from the building inspector dated May 10th, 2022, regarding 410 Hollis Road. I reviewed the application and have the following comments. The property in question is parcel ID 93-20, listed as 410 Hollis Road. It is in the Residence A zoning district. The proposed use is to construct a single-family home on the lot. The submitted plan shows the proposed home to meet most zoning bylaw setbacks, frontage, and lot width through house. The lot size is shown as 26,785 square feet. Residence A requires 40,000 square feet for a single-family buildable lot. Therefore, the applicant would be required to obtain a special permit through the Zoning Board of Appeals under Section 250, 8.3BD. The applicant would need 13,215 square feet of lot size of relief from the board. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, I would invite the applicant up.
Good evening. Does the board have plans that were submitted?
What's that?
Do you have copies of the plan? All right, I brought extra copies if you need them. Okay.
This one?
Yeah, perfect.
I'd like to ask a question before you.
Sure, go ahead.
Where were you a year and a half ago? When
Where?
you demolished the building?
Where were we a year and a half ago?
Well, you demolished the building a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And under 257-2B, voluntary demolition of a non-conforming structure without permission of the Zoning Board of Appeals shall constitute abandonment. So you're supposed to, when you're gonna demolish a building, you're supposed to come to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and so that we can see where the original building is, the foundation, the size, the location on the lot, and all of that, so we can make a determination. And as I see, this was demolished a year and a half ago.
My name is Don Dobick, own the property. I thought I went through the proper channels. I went to the town for a demo permit. They said I needed to get a rodent sign off. I needed to get an abatement, that there was no hazardous materials in the building. I got that paid and signed off. I had to get a demolition of an existing septic system by the Board of Health and an inspector, and show that the tank was pumped. I did that, and then they issued me the permit, and then I had to show where the material went legally disposed of, and I had my application, I paid for it, and everything got signed off and was approved.
Okay, so nobody ever directed you to the Zoning Board of
Sir.
Appeals?
Never,
Never?
never.
Okay, then there was I have to say there must have been some miscommunication between that you were gonna demolish and rebuild.
No, I mean, I got a demo permit. That's total, I mean, they
You can
knew,
get people can get a demo permit to take something down there if they have no plan to rebuild. So that, having the demolition permit is, something you can get without any intent of rebuilding. So I'm just questioning why, but apparently there was a miscommunication between the town and yourself at that time.
I felt I went through all the proper channels and met with the different departments and hired the people that gave for the abatement, asbestos or any of that. And I hired a person for Board of Health that licensed to demo the tank, and the people that pump it out, and the people that dispose of all the materials from the house. And I produced all that and got approved.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll let you make your presentation.
For the record, Wesley Fliss, Whitman and Bingham Associates, we're a division of Haley Ward. Lisa had gone over the majority of our, the reason that we're here this evening. We're here this evening for a special permit for the lot area. As she stated, the lot area requirement is 40,000 square feet. The lot area that we have on this property is 26,785 feet. What we're proposing is a 58-foot by 30-foot house on the property. As Lisa stated, and the building inspector also stated in his letter, we do meet all the other zoning offsets and requirements that the town has, and the only special permit requirement that we're looking for is the lot area. We have been in front of the Board of Health, done testing out on this property, and have received approval for the septic system on this property to make sure that that can be completed. And that was part of the delay on part of this project, is we had to wait for the weather to turn and get that system designed, or tested and then designed, to make sure that this lot could be built on. So there was a little bit, I know there's some delay between even the demo permit and coming in front of you this evening for the special permit for the lot area requirement. And so that was part of the reasoning behind that, because we have been working with Mr. Dobeck for, I want to say, over a year now, trying to figure out the best way to develop this piece of property for him. But as Mr. Dobeck stated, he did get a valid demo permit. I'm not sure if, Lisa, did you guys get a copy of that demo permit?
Yeah, well, it was issued November 3rd, 2020.
Okay.
I looked it up today.
And I'm not sure if you guys need it for your records, but as Mr. Dobeck said, it wasn't brought to his attention at that time to come to the ZBA, because he would have come to the ZBA at that time if he needed to, for the existing house. As Lisa read into record, we did respond to the requirements of the special permit. A couple things that note on the plan: we are trying to kind of slide everything more to the right of the property, to stay away from the intersection a little bit, especially for the main driveway that goes out to the bottom level. We do show a loop driveway in front of the property, and where the septic system will sit to the left-hand side of the property. Other than that, it's the property was developed before. It's still fairly open. There's not a large amount of clearing that needs to be done for this project. And I think
But they did start, there was like a cellar hole, foundation, not,
No, there's no foundation.
no foundation, but I see you had dug out.
When I received the sewer permit from the shoulder,
Yeah, you have to come up because it's on,
when I received the sewer permit from the Shoal Board of Health from town, I put the tanks in,
I
and I
saw
started
the
digging, and that's when I applied for my permit, not knowing that I would have this issue, so all I have is a stone bed down.
Oh,
There's
okay.
nothing, no concrete or nothing.
Okay, all right. I wondered how you ended up here, because I thought maybe you got a cease and desist or something.
No, I was doing
was when you
septic,
went
and I
to get the
applied,
permit?
gave my copies from my, whatever amount of copies, I think it was 3 or 4 of the plans, and issued for the building permit. And that's when they said that, because you tore that down, you're non-conforming now.
Okay,
That's over here.
okay.
I have a picture of the house that I'm gonna be building, if you wanna see that.
Well, we can,
That's the exact color and everything too.
Thank you.
Thank you. For those in the audience,
Maybe while you're both up there, can you tell me the location of the old house you tore down on
It
this?
was on the far right corner, it was like probably about 5 feet off of the property line.
Okay, on
Facing
Pond
the
Street?
property. No, towards,
On Hollis Road?
on Hall Street, yes, sir. And the septic tank was right there.
Okay.
And there pretty much was no setback, if that,
That
Picture is
existing had no
correct.
setback.
you know.
This meets all those setbacks.
How large was the prior structure?
I want to say maybe 1,000, maybe 1,000, 1,200 square feet. Less than that,
I looked it up and
700.
it was listed, it was built in 1945 and it was listed as a one-bed, one-bath, 500,
That was small.
yeah, 580 square feet. Just to answer his question. Okay, please continue.
That's all the new information we have. Like I said, the application is just really one special permit that we're requesting. I don't know if you want to go further into detail about the requirements of the special permit, or if the board members have any other questions that we may answer with regards to the property or the building that Mr. Dobek is looking to construct on the property. I think that, the biggest thing with regards to a lot of our answers to the special permit requirements is it's a single-family house in a single-family neighborhood. I know there's a lot more newer houses on Hollis Road, and then the older houses are on Pond Street and then Kimball Street. So kind of, we're looking to kind of match more what's going on with Hollis Road, and take, obviously the old building's gone and put up a new house. And you can see on the picture that he's showing there, it's not going to be I don't want to say obtrusive 2.5-story building. We're looking more of a 2-story at the most on a height. So there's not going to be.
It's actually 1 story.
And then
It says walk out below, it's 1 story.
and then what's the peak on the?
That's 12 feet above the
Okay.
the edge, so it'll be 16 feet from the front part.
So at least from the street view, it's going to be very low lying. And as he stated, it's going to be that walkout basement in the back of it. So it shouldn't be as obtrusive as a typical colonial house would be on that property.
Okay. Right now, I think I'll open it up to the board for any questions that you may have of the applicant.
I just have, Mr. Chairman, I have one quick question. So other than the square footage on, does it meet the 175 feet through the lot width? Because I didn't see that on there.
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that where you position the house, sort of like in the center of the property?
It sits a little more to the right because on the left-hand side, we had to put the septic system. And so when we did our testing out there, the left-hand side was the better location for the septic system. So that kind of dictated where the rest of the property could go.
I think through the center is 210 or 20.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
I just didn't see, it's not on the plan, correct? Like, I didn't see it.
If you add this, and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're about 225
225, yeah.
or
226.
226, yep.
So then, and just, because typically in this kind of situation, it's obviously a non-conforming lot, right? And there's a
Correct.
pre-existing building on there.
Correct. In an old neighborhood, I know Mrs. Normandin had stated, I think the date on the land plan was 1920 for when they cut up a lot of the lots out here. So a lot of them used to be all these camp lots.
Yeah, but I just, what's concerning is that, like, when you went for the demo permit, that no one said that you had to come before this board to get this,
Yeah, and it's,
Absolutely, they wouldn't issue it, obviously.
right.
I mean, the question becomes according to the bylaw, it constitutes an abandonment, but then, the verbiage above that says that, the abandonment and not using it for a period of 2 years and so forth. So, I mean, I think obviously it's better than what was there.
Yes.
But, typically we'd like to see in a non-conforming lot, where the existing building was in relation to where it is now. But, it's not here nor there.
Yeah, it was gone before we did our survey work out there.
The tax map from the town showed it.
Okay.
Originally, when those houses were built, they were more camps because of Whalum Lake and Whalum Park.
Yes.
They were kind of a recreation area. People built small homes and camps there. I'm sure that's, like I say, this was built in 1945, the one you tore down.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'll go back. Questions from the board?
Is the plan that it would be owner occupied, or is it going to be turned over?
I'll be living. Yeah.
Okay, it looks like you have it looks like you have a really nice master bedroom, en suite, one smaller bedroom, and then an office.
The doors are all 3-foot wide too,
Okay,
in case.
okay, good planning.
Yeah.
Other questions from the board?
See the site.
Give them a minute. Any questions, Tony or Patrick?
What's the, all right, so you said you're gonna be to the peak, how big, how tall?
So it's a 612, so let me see, 30, so it'll be,
What's the total elevation from ground to tip top?
it'll be, I'm through my head, I'm trying to do, so it's 612, so it'll be half of that, 15, 90 inches, and it'll be like 16, 17 feet.
And what's that relevant to the rest of the houses in the area? Too high?
Shorter. Yeah.
Much shorter?
Across this, yeah. So across the street, the lot that I have encompasses 2 homes. So if you took property line to property line, there's 2 houses, and they're both higher.
Okay. That's all the questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Not for the applicant.
Okay. I'll just make a comment that the original house, like I say, was 580 square feet. The new house is
Was that
going
the
to be...
basement and up above, or
What's
just
that?
just the top part of it? It was 2 stories, it was downstairs?
Yeah, no, that would have been how it was listed. I don't know the exact. So, and you're proposing a 1740, which is a significant increase in the nonconformity, but I understand that that house was extremely small. And as far as the miscommunication for the, tearing it down, I guess I'm going to have to give you the benefit of the doubt, but that's up to the rest of the board whether they do or don't. So if there's no more questions from my board to the applicant, I will ask if the public has any comment. Anybody like to speak? Please give your name and address.
My name is Sharon Albert, and I live at 5 Pond Street, and we've been there for a long time. I've talked to a lot of the neighbors, and their concerns are that the house that was there was extremely tiny, yes, but from the looks of what they've already done, it's going to be substantially bigger, and if it doesn't conform to the lot, they're concerned about it being so big. The gentleman who lives right across from the lot, I've spoken to him and several of the neighbors. I mean, is it generally, do you allow that to be so far off with the, the house? If I build a new house, I have to build it on a certain lot. And they're, what, about well under it, So shouldn't that conform to the size of the house being
Well-
built on the lot?
Basically, it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot. That's a legal lot
Okay.
to rebuild on. This one's a little bit different in the way it happened. Like I say, usually at the demolition before you come to the ZBA. We're doing it after, but again, I think that was a miscommunication. It is up to this board.
Okay.
We do have the authority to
Oh, yeah, I
grant.
realize that, yeah. But
So-
I'm just, because of
But no,
work and other
we appreciate
concerns,
your
nobody could
comments.
come. So I said I would come and say their concerns, and that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
The house that was there was extremely small, and nobody would want to build a house that size. That's, of course. But we also don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb,
Right.
but.
Is it the size of the house, or is it the height? I mean,
Well, I live at the top of the hill, and that's where they're gonna go right across from me. And I don't think it's the height so much where they are, because they'll be at the top of the hill too. but it's it's just going to be substantially larger than what was there and change the, the houses that are there. Yeah, there are two right across on the other side on Hollis that are huge, but they're also built on big lots, so they don't look like they're out of place. But I don't know how that's going to work on that side with all, if you drive down that street, they're all small houses, and they're all very nice, but I don't know how, with the thoughts not big enough for that size house, what that's going to look like. That's our concern.
And you did get the picture that they showed?
Yeah, I do, but it's very hard to know, like, how does this comply to the lot? I mean, is it going to take up the whole lot, or?
Well, did you see this?
No, I didn't have that.
Yeah, if you could, Lisa. That shows you the proposed house on the lot. So as you can see, it's kind of in the middle of the lot. It meets all the setbacks as far as the zoning is concerned. It's simply a,
Front offset, Pond Street.
Okay, where is the driveway? Can you show me?
So here's the loop driveway in the front, but the main driveway's on the side here, the back.
Oh, up on Hollis. So so it's right on this corner?
So further from the corner, the main driveway's here, furthest to the property line.
Yeah, I know it,
And
yeah,
so-
okay.
Because the way it is there's gonna be a drive under. basement.
Oh, there we, okay, well, I'm going to take this with me so I can share it with the other
yeah,
people.
you can definitely take it.
But that was their biggest concern. I mean,
Yeah, you can
is it
take,
going to,
Yeah.
I gave them both.
Oh, you gave her both? Okay. So you have.
okay? All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else from the public like to speak?
My name's Kenneth Marvel, owner of 406 Hollis Road, the property directly abutting to the north. Overall, to be quite honest with you, I'm on board. It looks good, as far as like aesthetic wise, how it would fit on the property itself. Based on the size of the other house, this to me just when looking at other homes in the neighborhood on that specific street, it would fit in honestly better than the previous home that was there. My only question would be the height of the retaining wall, like closest to the corner, just for obstructing the views when trying to make that left onto Hollis from Pond Street. That would really be it.
Okay.
So,
So just the height of the retaining wall?
yeah, just specifically at that corner. It's kind of hard to see going, making a turn from Pond Street onto Hollis. That's my only concern, honestly. The rest of it, I'm directly abutting, and I have no issue with the design.
Okay. I will let them, if you would address that.
Sure, a couple things. So with regards to the retaining wall, we're talking 2-foot high retaining wall at the highest point there, and it's going to blend into the
2 feet?
2 feet at the highest point, and it's going to blend into the ground as you come in the corner. It's not going to be an obstruction.
Okay. Are you satisfied with 2 feet?
It's just for the,
It's with the septic system.
for the slope of the,
Sorry, but,
that slope needs to be 3 to 1 off the top of the system. And by doing that, I would have ended up on the town property. So I had to put that 2-foot wall there for the thing to stop.
okay. All right. What's the distance of the stone wall?
60 feet.
60 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, just 2 feet. Okay.
But I understand the gentleman's concern with where it comes up towards the corner.
Yeah,
The wall stops back a ways from the corner there, and it goes downhill, not up. the-
not up. Okay.
So we're about 40 feet back from the corner, if not 45 feet from the edge of pavement. And so it shouldn't even come close to being an obstruction for any kind of cars turning in and out of there.
Okay.
And just, I think one point to make is, Mr. Dobek did state that he wants to be the occupant of the home. Obviously, the intent here is to be a main floor, not to have multiple stories. And that was the intent here, is I know the square footage is bigger than what's out there before, but we're not asking for a special permit for the square footage of the home. There's no requirement that we're exceeding for the square footage of the home. The only thing we're asking for is square footage of the lot. I'll say it a million times, we meet all the offsets with regards to the zoning for the front yard offset, the side yard offset, rear yard offsets. We meet all those offsets, even with this size of home. And as the gentleman just said, this house is going to fit in better with the size of the homes that are currently on Halls Road. I know it's going to be a little bit bigger square footage than what's on Pond Street, and especially in the neighborhood as you go closer to the lake. But all the newer homes that are up on Hollis Road, this is actually probably a little smaller than some of those colonials that have the 2 or 3 car garages up there. So it's going to fit in very well with that neighborhood when you look at what kind of houses are up in that area. And the reason I want to make the point about the elevation of the home is I know the 2 homes across from it right now have a good elevation. As Mr. Dobek said, his intent is to kind of split the difference of those 2 homes so it's not impacting their view shed. And having that low home, it shouldn't impact their view shed either. Trying to have a 3-story house there, trying to block their view shed.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions that came up while, okay, very good. All right, would anybody else like to speak? Seeing none, I'll cut off public discussion. I'll bring it back to the board. If there are no more questions of the applicant, I would ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, so I understand, I'm finding it hard that these guys, like, I understand it. If they had come before us, and did all the proper channels, I'm just surprised that, he goes in for a demo permit, you would think they'd say to him,
We
"You
would
would come to the ZBA to get it done because you've gone through all the other steps."
we would have thought too, and to be honest with you, we've been working this.
You would think it'd be a checklist that says, "Hey, you got to come to the ZBA."
It was kind of a shock to us, to be honest with you. It's when it was
When you
brought up to
building
Mr. Dobek now.
inspector, issued the basically saying
Yeah,
it's a non-conforming lot.
Yes, it came up now. When he was trying to do the stuff now, it was not a surprise, but it was a surprise that the other item was also brought to the attention.
Yeah.
That's
That's what just
It is very odd, is
I
because
agree.
because my job is to interpret the bylaw, right? I'm looking at the bylaw. It's like, okay, well, there's abandonment there, and then you got the only thing I will say is that there was a structure standing there.
There
and that
was.
structure
Was not conforming.
What you have now is more conforming to the bylaw, except for the
lot area.
Yeah, except for the lot area.
which we don't have the ability to change.
Yeah, and the lot area, was pre-existing.
Correct.
And you had a structure on there. So
Correct.
it's not unlike what other applicants before you come before the board when they want to change the structure.
Right.
To meet more of their needs and be more conforming to the bylaw.
And that's what I would say too, is we're not trying to create a nonconformity even worse. The nonconformity is what it is. We're not creating it any worse than it is.
You've
We're
actually
not,
made it better.
correct. We're not bringing that old house to you and saying we want to be 3 feet off the property line instead of 5. Completely, that old house is gone, and then we want to put a new house that meets all the rest of the zoning offsets and make
Well-
everything comply other than the zoning area, which again, we don't have the ability to
Right.
correct. There's no other lots adjacent that are for sale. There's no way to create another 17,000 square feet out there.
And I'm going to say, I believe that there was some sort of miscommunication, simply for the fact that you wouldn't have bought the property if you knew that you couldn't build anything.
No, he would have been here a year and a half ago. There's no reason for him to not come to you a year and a half ago because he knew what he wanted to do on this property a year and a half ago. It
Well,
was just
plus
a matter of getting here.
Plus the fact that he did everything by the book. They asked him to do all the other
Right.
Correct.
activities that he had to get sign off, and he did it.
Correct.
In good faith.
Yes, yep, and going through the hoops and trying to do everything else he has, so.
I will say it's unusual because I don't know. I
Very
can't
unusual.
remember the last time that something like this has happened.
Yeah. No, I can't either. It was-
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we grant the special permit that they requested. I'm just trying to figure out what you're looking for.
You can do it under 258.3 BD for a permit for the very dimensional requirements.
258.
8.3 BD.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we grant the applicant's special permit for a dimensional variation on the lot that
Lot
they're on.
size.
Yep, on the lot size.
To build a home as.
Yep, yep, to build the proposed home as submitted by Whitman and Bingham.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second, therefore I'll call it to a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Patrick?
Aye.
Aye.
And I say aye. So the special permit is granted, special permit for a dimensional requirement, and I will read you the post-decision instructions. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner complies with all other licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in revocation of the permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. After certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded, and the special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction is commenced. So with that, good luck with their new house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jimmy usually says that.